Welcome to this explainer. There's this massive seasonal shift that completely transforms family life every single year, yet its true impact often just flies totally under the radar. We're talking about the transition into summer break and what it really means for autistic individuals. By the end of our time today, we're going to uncover exactly why the loss of school year structure is felt so deeply, and more importantly, we'll discover how our communities can step up to bridge that gap. Okay, let's just think about the universal expectation of summer for a second. Vacations, pool days, total freedom from a busy schedule. It's supposed to be relaxing, right? But the reality for many autistic individuals and their caregivers is actually quite different. The sudden loss of routine doesn't feel like freedom at all. It feels like the floor dropping out. Predictable schedules disappear, familiar supports vanish, and what was supposed to be a simple, fun seasonal transition actually triggers deep anxiety and overwhelm. So here's our roadmap for today. We're going to cover the hidden stress of summer, why predictability equals safety, the executive functioning gap, and navigating summer sensory overload. Then we'll look at actionable solutions, how community partners can help, and ultimately creating true autism acceptance. All right, Section 1, the hidden stress of summer and why the break isn't always relaxing. If you're a camp counselor, library staff, recreation director, or local business owner watching this, your environments literally become the new classroom in the summer. And when those familiar school schedules disappear without a replacement, it causes a whole cascade of effects. We see increased anxiety, severe emotional overwhelm, and intense difficulty transitioning from one activity to another. And it bleeds into physiological patterns too, causing sleep disruptions, reduced motivation, and heightened sensory fatigue. It's not just someone being in a bad mood. The removal of structure fundamentally impacts a person's ability to regulate their emotions and just manage their day. Moving on to Section 2, why predictability equals safety, specifically looking at the nervous system response. Now, what's really fascinating here is this concept of felt safety. From a polyvagal perspective, predictability isn't just, a nice preference to have, it is a profound biological need. When environments are predictable, they help autistic individuals feel deeply secure. Predictability reduces uncertainty, which basically means the brain doesn't have to work overtime just to process what's going to happen next. And when that felt safety is established, that's when individuals can finally access their capacity for learning, social engagement, communication, and problem solving. And that leads us to a massive aha moment. When you see an autistic child, teen, or adult struggling during a summer camp or a community event, these are not behavioral problems. They are nervous system responses to increased demands and reduced predictability. Reframing these challenges empathetically, seeing them as biological responses rather than misbehavior, is absolutely game-changing for anyone hosting a summer program. Section 3, the executive functioning gap and the loss of built-in support. Let's define this term really clearly. Executive functioning refers to the mental processes that help us plan, organize, initiate tasks, manage time, remember information, and complete activities. Think of it kind of like the brain's internal project manager. During the school year, a lot of this heavy lifting is essentially outsourced to the school environment. But what happens to the project manager when summer finally hits? Just look at the contrast here. During the school year, schedules are incredibly consistent, but in the summer, time becomes entirely unstructured. School cues like bells and visual reminders, they completely disappear. Consistent adult guidance is replaced by totally unpredictable activities. An autistic teen who independently completes complex school assignments might suddenly struggle just to figure out how to organize an unstructured summer afternoon. The skills weren't suddenly lost in June. It's just that the entire external support system completely vanished. But hey, summer absolutely does not have to be a time of regression. In fact, if we can just maintain some consistency, summer is a fantastic opportunity to build essential daily living skills. With a little bit of structure, community organizations can help individuals integrate skills like personal hygiene routines, meal preparation, money management, and self-advocacy right into everyday life. Small, structured experiences in the community very often lead to the most meaningful, real-world growth. Let's jump into Section 4, navigating summer sensory overload, focusing on environmental factors. Think about your typical summer day for a second. The sweltering heat, the intense humidity, the crowded community events, the glaring sun. Let's be honest, a supposedly relaxing pool day can easily turn into an exhausting sensory obstacle course for anybody. Now amplify that. For an autistic individual, a local festival or a loud recreation area can easily become a sensory minefield. Without proactive accommodations, the physical environment alone can completely drain a person's capacity to even participate. Section 5. How community partners can help. Let's look at some actionable steps for inclusion. So, how exactly do we bridge this gap? Well, if you run a local business, a library, a church, or a camp, you have the power to help by following a really clear 5-step blueprint. 1. Communicating clearly. 2. Offering predictability. 3. Supporting flexible participation. 4. Building relationships. And 5. Partnering with families. By being intentional with these 5 steps, we can create environments that actually support executive functioning, rather than just expecting individuals to blindly adapt on their own. Let's see what this looks like in the real world. If you're a camp director or a librarian watching this right now, here is how you can empower your space today. To offer predictability, simply share your start times, end times, and program structure well in advance. To accommodate sensory needs, designate quiet spaces and allow for sensory breaks without any judgment. And for flexibility, allow alternative seating arrangements and let participants gradually engage at their own pace. Seriously, these small changes create massive opportunities for belonging. Which brings us to our final section, Part 6. Creating true autism acceptance, well beyond just awareness. Across Upstate South Carolina, resources like Upstate Carolina Autism Associates and their NeuroConnect program are actively out there building these inclusive environments. From Easley to Greenville, Pickens County to Anderson, they are bridging care, connection, and community by providing neuro-affirming support. They're proving that when communities truly understand the importance of structure and accessibility, absolutely everyone benefits. There's a really powerful idea to keep in mind here. Autism acceptance is not about changing autistic people. It is about creating communities where differences are understood, respected, and supported. The burden of adaptation should not fall entirely on the autistic individual who's just trying to navigate a chaotic summer day. That burden should fall on the community designing the programs to make them accessible right from the start. So knowing what you know now about felt safety, the sudden loss of executive functioning supports, and all the overwhelming sensory demands of the season, will you make your summer program a place where everyone truly belongs? The blueprint is right there in your hands. Now it's time to build it. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope you feel empowered to create an incredibly supportive summer in your own community.